Have you ever noticed how the night smiles when someone is kind? Well, tonight, we're going to see a pair of small hands do something truly special, something that glows. Our story begins in a cozy village, nestled among silver trees and sleepy hills. In this village lived a child named Lumi. Lumi had bright, curious eyes, quiet, gentle footsteps, and hands that absolutely loved to help. When evening arrived, the whole village would move softly toward bedtime. The wind would whisper a gentle "hoo." The leaves would rustle in reply. And tiny lights from windows would blink twinkle. Twinkle. Everything felt warm and slow, a perfect picture of peace. Lumi's grandmother used to tell them, helping hands are a little bit magical. After hearing this, Lumi would often look down at their own fingers. They seemed so ordinary, wiggly, small, gentle, but Lumi wondered, maybe magic could be gentle too. One beautiful lavender evening, as a round, bright moon rose in the sky, Lumi carried a tiny basket down a familiar path. Step, step. Never fast at bedtime. Inside that little basket were warm, freshly baked rolls for Mrs. Willow, who lived near the edge of the forest. Mrs. Willow moved very slowly. Her back was bent like a question mark, but her smile always seemed to hold all the answers. Lumi knocked very softly on her door. Tap, tap. The door opened with a happy, familiar creak. "Lumi," Mrs. Willow said, her voice warm. "You came." "I brought supper," Lumi answered, holding up the basket. Mrs. Willow's eyes shone with gratitude. "Such helpful hands," she whispered, her voice like a soft hum. Lumi placed the basket on her small wooden table. And just for a moment, something sparkled. Lumi looked down, surprised. Were their fingers glowing? It was just a little bit. Like starlight had decided to rest right there on their skin. Grandmother was right, Mrs. Willow hummed with a knowing smile. Kindness wakes the magic. Lumi felt a warmth spread inside their chest. It wasn't big flashy magic. It was quiet magic. The very best kind. On the way home, the path was alive with the gentle sounds of the night. Crickets sang their cheerful songs. The breeze curled around Lumi's hair, whispering that soft "hoo." Once again, near the old oak tree, its branches reaching for the stars, Lumi saw someone else. It was Toma, the baker's son. He was struggling to carry a heavy bucket of water. It wobbled precariously. Drip, drop, spilling with every step. "Would you like some help?" Lumi asked, their voice soft. Toma nodded, a look of relief washing over his face. "Yes, please." So Lumi took hold of the other side of the bucket's handle. Together they walked, step, slow and careful. The water immediately stopped wobbling. Toma smiled, his gratitude shining in his eyes. "Thank you." And again, just for a fleeting moment, Lumi's hands shimmered with that same gentle light. "Twinkle." Toma blinked, his eyes wide. "Your hands are shiny." Lumi giggled softly. "Maybe they are happy." They finally reached the bakery where the warm, delicious smell of freshly baked bread floated out into the cool night air. Mrs. Baker waved from the doorway. "Such good helpers," she called out, her voice full of warmth and pride. That night, as Lumi lay in bed, they looked at their hands in the soft moonlight filtering through the window. They didn't glow anymore. They were just ordinary hands again. But Lumi knew their secret. The magic wasn't always visible. It was in the feeling of the warm roll passed to a friend, in the steady grip on a wobbly bucket, in the smile you receive in return. The next day, Lumi woke up with the sun. They helped their grandmother in the garden, their small hands carefully pulling weeds from around the bright red tomatoes. The sun felt warm, and the earth felt cool. Later, they found a little bird with a tangled wing. Very gently, Lumi worked the tiny threads loose until the bird was free. It chirped a thank you and flew away. Each time Lumi helped, they felt that familiar warmth spread inside them. Sometimes, if the light was just right, they'd catch a tiny glimmer on their fingertips, a secret sparkle just for them. One afternoon, a traveling storyteller came to the village. He gathered all the children under the big oak tree and told them tales of great heroes with powerful magic. swords that shone and spells that could move mountains. The children listened, their eyes wide with wonder. After the stories were over, Toma turned to Lumi. "Your magic isn't like that," he said. "It's not loud." Lumi thought for a moment. "No," they agreed, "it's quiet." They looked at their hands. They looked simple, just hands. But they had held a basket for Mrs. Willow. They had steadied a bucket for Toma. They had freed a bird. "I think," Lumi said slowly, "that quiet magic is the kind that helps things grow. And helps people smile." Toma nodded. He understood. The best magic wasn't about power, it was about connection. It was the magic of being there for someone. As Lumi grew, their hands were always busy. They learned to bake bread, its warmth seeping into their palms. They learned to mend torn clothes, their fingers dancing with a needle and thread. They learned to plant seeds and watch them grow into something wonderful. And the glow, it was always there. Sometimes, it was a bright shimmer when they did something especially kind, like sharing their last piece of fruit with a friend who was hungry. Other times, it was just a faint, steady warmth that only Lumi could feel, a constant reminder of the magic flowing through them. The villagers started to notice. They wouldn't say Lumi has magic hands. Instead, they would say Lumi has helping hands, or Lumi has kind hands, and everyone knew that was the most wonderful kind of magic there was. So, if you ever feel small or ordinary, just look at your own hands. Think about the good they can do. A pat on the back for a friend who is sad. A picture drawn for someone you love. Helping to set the table for dinner. Each little act of kindness is a spark. And you never know. If you look closely enough, you might just see your own hands start to glow. Because the truest magic, the quietest and kindest magic, lives inside of all of us, just waiting for a chance to shine. Thank you for joining me on this gentle journey tonight. If you enjoyed our story, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more tales that warm the heart. See you next time.